Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Amit Kaushik. Welcome to the Altec Group Global Economy and Graphite Electrode Industry May 2023 Outlook podcast. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD) says global economy outlook improving, but core inflation may weigh on growth in 2023. Global GDP growth in 2023 is projected to reach 2.7%, the annual lowest rate since the global financial crisis, except for 2020 during COVID 19. Expected to increase to 2.9% in 2024 as inflation moderates and real incomes increase. GDP growth in the United States is projected to be 1.6% in 2023 before slowing to 1% in 2024 in response to tight monetary and financial conditions. In the euro area, declining headline inflation will help to boost real incomes and contribute to a pickup in GDP growth from 0.9% in 2023 to 1.5% in 2024. China is expected to see an increase in GDP growth in 2023 with 5.4% and in 2024 with 5.1% due to the lifting of government's zero COVID policy. The European economy continues to show resilience, dispelling fears of a recession with support from low energy prices, waning supply constraints, strong labor market supported moderate growth in Q1 2023. Metal prices in 2023 are forecast to fall by 8% and a further 3.3% in 2024. In 2023, largest price drops are forecast for tin and zinc by 23% and 20% respectively. Aluminium and nickel prices are forecast to drop by 11% and 15% respectively. Copper and lead are expected to fall by less than 5%. Let's have a look at Brent crude price. Brent crude futures fell below $76 per barrel, giving back some gains as global economy uncertainties continue to weigh on the demand outlook. Major banks have downgraded their GDP growth forecasts for China as the latest data pointed to a faltering post pandemic recovery in the world's top crude importer. On iron ore prices, the prices for 63.5% iron ore to Tianjin delivery advanced past by $115 per metric ton, hovering close to 7-week high of $115.5 from June 9th amid bets of incoming stimulus rollouts from Beijing. On the steam coal prices, Newcastle coal futures fell to $140 with the lowest ever since July 2021, down almost 70% from its record high of US dollar 457.8 reached in September 2022. The economic recovery in China remains subdued. During the first 4 months of 2023, the China experienced a modest increase of only 4.8% in raw coal output, while imports surged by a substantial 88.8%. Let's take a look at some LME metals. LME steel scrap CFR Turkey. The Turkish scrap remains depressed among weak buying interest. The HRC steel increased $152 per ton or 20.43% since the beginning of 2023. The nickel futures traded around US dollar 22,700 per metric ton mark. retreating from the 9-month bottom touched in May 2023 amidst low inventories. Aluminium futures are trading within the range of 2200 to 2300 US dollar per metric ton as traders anticipate a more balanced Chinese aluminium market following the deficit in 2022. Copper futures rose towards 3.9 per pound in June, the highest in over 1 month amid a softer dollar, mounting supply concerns and hopes of a pickup in demand. Major market players continue to flag worries that copper supply may not keep up with expectations of strong long term demand since the metal is a critical raw material for the transition to renewable resources. Lead. The lead decreased 148 US dollar per metric ton or 6.33% since the beginning of 2023. Zinc prices have climbed above US dollar 2400, reaching the highest point since May 2019 amid concern over supply following the announcement by Swedish mine Boliden that it will halt production at Europe's largest zinc mine in Ireland within the next month due to unsustainable financial losses. Zinc prices have previously hit a more than 2-year low of US dollar 2233 on May 25, driven by a weak demand and surge in production. Let's have a look at the ferroalloys market. Silico-manganese prices in the Indian market. The domestic Indian market edged lower in mid-June due to a weak demand. Owing to high production cost, producers remained less active in floating offers, which resulted in a marginal decrease in the prices. India's silico-manganese export prices have continued to decrease. In June, prices have fallen by 2% compared to a week before. Looking at the sea freight rates, we observe that global freight movements continued to dwindle as manufacturers and distributors struggled to reduce excess inventories and cope with the rise in the interest rates and increased caution among buyers. Some of the drops in freight have been driven by the rotation back to spending on hospitality, travel, leisure, and other services, and away from merchandise after the pandemic. Let's have a look at global crude steel production. Global crude steel production figures tell us world crude steel production decreased by 2.4% year on year in April 2023. Only Asia and the Middle East have grown year on year for the period January to April 2023. If we talk about top 10 crude steel producing countries, amongst these, China and India's steel production continues to increase year on year for the period of January to April 2023 by 4.1% and 3% respectively. Let's have a look at graphite electrode market. The key raw material, needle coke, to produce graphite electrode used in electric arc and ladle furnaces to melt steel scrap is seeing a slide in the prices. Graphite electrode, which is one of the key inputs to the steel industry for melting steel scrap, has been uh, and seen a drop in the prices in the short term on the supply side as the demand side is flat. It gives me pleasure to share that Altec Group teams have been participating in global conferences like AIST in USA, Made in Steel in Italy, MENA Steel Forum in Egypt, METEC in Germany, and presented technical papers on subjects like fast and slow speed measurements. What is the best choice for industrial process? And use of artificial intelligence for environmental management for industrial processes, thus sharing our knowledge and information on various subjects with the industry. This brings us to the end of this edition of the podcast. We will connect to you next month with a new edition of Global Economy and Graphite Electrode Outlook. Thank you very much.